And now, our feature presentation.
To infinity and beyond!
My name's Bond. James Bond.
That'll do, Pig.
Bad boys, what you gonna do?
Show you with the box. Who's in the box?
Ew! Get off of me! Ugh, that's it.
A lot of people go to college for 7 years.
I know. They're called doctors.
Houston, we have a problem.
Welcome in, everybody. It is 52/1995, your live movie conversation podcast where we dive deep into the movies of 1995. I'm your host, Cody, and I'm thrilled to be joined this week by my wonderful, amazing, beautiful co-host and fiance, Alyssa, to discuss Clockers. If this is
what a movie
to discuss with it.
Yeah.
No, for those who are tuning in for the very first time, we're glad that you're here. Every week, 52 of them to be exact, we explore a different film from the year 1995. We'll dive into this year's important releases, and we discuss them in detail, or however much detail we want to go into. And then we chat with my guest host about their thoughts and experiences with the movie. We're starting a new theme this month called Drugs Are Bad. And each one of our movies this month focus on drugs or alcohol in some way. Some of them, most of them are for the bad. Like, they're bad. Drugs are bad. So drugs are bad, and these movies show you what happens with that. But
crack is whack.
Crack is whack, and that is the theme of this month's or this week's movie. Crack is whack. As I drink alcohol. Before we jump into this week's movie, Alyssa, thank you again. I know this was your very first time seeing this movie, as is kind of the MO with some of these movies that we watch here. But you have seen, I think, 2 other Spike Lee movies before now.
Yes.
One of them for the podcast, and then one because of like recommendation from me saying, hey, you should watch this. So my question to you, I did not prep you for this at all. How do you feel about Spike Lee as a filmmaker, or do you have any opinions on the films that you watch? Because I honestly, I feel like you've gotten 3 very, very different versions, and they're all centered. Funnily enough, they're all centered around Brooklyn and where Spike Lee is from, and Bed-Stuy and everything like that. But like, so you've got 3 Brooklyn movies here. But they're all very different. And so I just wanted to get your thoughts on Spike Lee as a whole, or your experiences so far.
Yeah, well, I think I picked this movie because it was Spike Lee. Last year when we did Crooklyn, I don't know if I was placed on that one, if I raised my hand for that one, said, yeah, I'll do it. And it was such an interesting movie. But I really like it. The further away I get from it, the more I enjoyed it. And then the recommendation movie was Do the Right Thing. And again, the longer I like sit and think about that movie, the more I like it. And so when this one came around, I was like, I want to do this because it's Spike Lee. Because he has such an interesting point of view. I think his older movies are more Brooklyn centered, right? What you know, right? It's kind of like Crooklyn was based on his life. He inserts himself in every single movie that he's in, which I love when a director does that. I know Tarantino does that too, but I'm more partial to Spike Lee than Tarantino.
Yeah.
But I love an artistic point of view. Like, I love when movies do something a little weird. I love when there's cool camera angles, or like there's a deeper message, or there's symbolism and colors and something, an unreliable narrator, and some type of artistic element to a movie. And of the 3 that I've seen, Spike Lee has had it in all 3 movies. He does he does the I don't know what to call it, but I want to say it's almost like being on wheels, where someone is just like rolling forward, and like the rest of the world is like moving past them, and they're like kind of sat still, but it's almost like they're on wheels. He's done that. He did that with the Clockers that are in Crooklyn, where he's one of them. He did that with our main character in this movie, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, here we go. Like, I love that stuff. the colors, the billboard that we saw multiple times of no more packing, that came up multiple times throughout the like it. I like. Apparently, I'm a Spike Lee fan. But you're right; these are three very different movies, all with varying levels of how much I like them.
Mm-hmm. And I think that there are even more elements to Spike Lee that you haven't seen yet. You haven't seen more of there you get a little bit of it in Crooklyn, you get a little bit of it in Do the Right Thing, but like the more like not necessarily romantic side, but there is love, like a love story or like an intimate relationships kind of thing in some of his earlier work. I'm really eager to show you She's Gotta Have It because it's the very first one that he did, and it is centered around a woman and her like life and dealing with these three men that are all very different and all like have their own like scruples and things that are wrong. Like it's such an interesting and an opener for his career. That's one that I want to show you, and it shows off that artistic side. Like Spike Lee is, you're absolutely right. Like he tells like these are narrative movies, but there is like an art house spin to them. Like he does do things differently, like you said, with some of the camera angles, some of the movement and the blocking of some of these people in these scenes. He does it a couple times in this movie with like Harvey Keitel whenever they're in that interrogation scene with Tyrone at the end, like him narrating what is going. Like I really loved that part of it, and like the video game stuff too. That was, I mean, as dated as it is, it's still really, really worked on me in this film. So
you saw the parallels very easily.
Yeah. It was very cool. So every time I like I said, I'm excited to show you any movies. This was a first time watch for me too. I've never seen Clockers before, but every time I watch a Spike Lee movie, I feel like I get something good out of it. And I'm like, why? I mean, he's made, I don't know, 20 movies, 30, maybe 30 movies. He does a lot of documentary stuff too. A lot of music documentary stuff too. And every time I've watched something, I'm like, oh, this was great. Like this was interesting. It's going to have me thinking about it. Like you said, you're still you think about Crooklyn, and it becomes more and more like precious to you as time goes on. And Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing is one of my top 5 movies of all time. But the further you get away from it, the more you're like, oh, this thing, and you continually think about it. One thing that I personally love about Spike Lee is his attention to, or like his love of movies themselves. And him drawing on movies from the past, these black and white movies, these Hitchcock movies, or Otto Preminger films, like Anatomy of a Murder. That's what the poster of Clockers is actually based on, is an old film, Anatomy of a Murder. And like he does have that love of old movies and an appreciation of old movies. And it's so much different than like a Tarantino, who comes out around this time too. Where Tarantino's life is filled around all these like pulpy B movies that he saw, and like Spike is drawing all his stuff from all these like really old, serious black and white films that were made in the 50s, 40s, 50s, and 60s.
I think that both Tarantino and Spike Lee, again, derive from old movies. I think Spike Lee writes his movies about, like, his are real life. His is, this is a snapshot of somebody's life, my sister's life, someone's life. This is real. Tarantino's is what he wishes was real.
I agree. I can agree with that. And that is a common, I think, a criticism of Tarantino. While one of the greatest filmmakers, I think, of all time, like, still, yes, you're right. Like, he wants to be in that world and like writes from a fantasy point of view. Yeah.
There's like, it's edgy. It's I don't think I would say of the 3 Spike Lee movies, I wouldn't say is edgy in the sense that it's like cool or dark, but it's like, this is edgy in the sense that this is really difficult subject matter to discuss and put on screen, as opposed to Tarantino's edgy, who's like, I'm gonna wear a leather jacket and say slurs.
Yeah. He's like, Elvis is cool, kung fu movies are cool, saying the N-word is cool. Like, that's Tarantino.
Yeah.
And Spike Lee has definitely given him, some things about that. Denzel has talked to Quentin Tarantino about that as well. And I do think he's probably pulled back a little bit on that. Still not like as much as he should have, but it's just they're interesting filmmakers, and in a lot of the filmmakers that we've talked about obviously draw on films from like the Coen brothers. When we did Hudsucker Proxy and everything, like that's going from like 30s and 40s screwball comedies that they grew up with watching, and also like Three Stooges stuff that they grew up watching. So it's kind of like I love this period because these are the filmmakers who are now in their late 50s, 60s, 70s. That we grew up with, that maybe some of us have seen them, but like we were alive during this time frame, and it's interesting to see what they have done and what their style is, and like go back and look at some of those older movies. I find like that stuff really gets me revved up and going. So and I love showing you something like you had in 3 years ago you hadn't seen any Spike Lee movies.
Correct.
And now you've seen 3 Spike Lee movies.
I think all 3 of these movies have been in the calendar year. Like, I think it might have been like June of last year until now. That's like how 3 movies within about a year.
Yeah. And you're a fan.
I'm a fan.
I love it. I love it. And this is an interesting movie too, because it's not with Crooklyn, we have Spike Lee's life with Do the Right Thing, another like growing up in Bed-Stuy and dealing with, racism and racism and cops and mixing of cultures in these neighborhoods that are coming in, be it white, black, Korean, Italian, like all these people getting meshed together in one hot day in New York. And then this one is one of the, I don't know if it's his first one where he's adapting source material, because this one was based on a book written. And I have some more facts about it, but this movie was not meant to be a Spike Lee movie.
Right.
And
Scorsese.
Yes, it was a Martin Scorsese movie, but he ended up, passing on this, still has an executive producer credit on this film, but passed on this, gave it to Spike Lee, and the story completely changes from one person's hands to another.
Right. I think, and this may be going into our fun facts a little, I think the cop was going to be the main character in the Scorsese version, gets passed on to Spike Lee, and Spike Lee says, no, it's going to be Strike. Strike's going to be my main character, and it's going to be from his point of view instead. And while I would say those two are our main characters, those are like antagonist, protagonist in a way. It does completely change the movie. And I again didn't read the book. I wonder what the book was more like. Yeah.
I wonder if Strike gets the kind of ending that Strike gets in that book, or if there is, I don't want to say kind, but like, I feel like maybe, again, don't know anything about the book. The guy that wrote the book worked with Spike Lee on the screenplay. So I assume that it probably is very similar, but I think the cops are probably portrayed in a different way in this, which I think we'll talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. We've talked for a little bit now about this. And so let's take a look at our movie and what was going on then. So the name of our movie is called Clockers. It came out, we're actually 2 days away from the 30th anniversary. It came out September 5th, 1995, and directed by Spike Lee, written and based on the novel by Richard Price. And he helped with the screenplay, and Spike Lee also did the screenplay. We've got Harvey Keitel as Detective Rocco Klein, John Turturro as Detective Mazzilli, Delroy Lindo as Rodney Little. We've got Mekhi Phifer here in, I think, his first movie as Strike, or Ronald Dunham. Isaiah Washington as Victor Dunham, his brother. Regina Taylor in here as Irish Jeter. We've got some others in this movie as well, but those are basically our main cast. Keith David is in here as Andre the Giant. It's his nickname in this movie that I don't think we ever hear anybody say Andre the Giant.
No, they just call him Andre, but I like that his credit name is Andre the Giant.
That's nice. So the synopsis for this movie is 19-year-old Strike Dunham is a small-time street drug dealer for Rodney Little who wants Strike to kill a former dealer who stole from him. When the man turns up dead, Strike is suspected, but before homicide detective Rocco Klein has a chance to investigate, Strike's brother Victor confesses to the crime, and Klein suspects that Victor, a virtuous family man, is trying to cover up for Strike. This movie had a budget of $25 million, but sadly a box office return of $13 million. So this one was a little bit of a bust for Spike. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a score of 75%, IMDb at 6.9, and Letterboxd at 3.7. Roger Ebert really liked this film. He gave it 3.5 stars out of 4. He said, Lee once again demonstrates his ability to make a film that is both specific in its setting and universal in its themes. And Janet Maslin from New York Times, often going up against Roger Ebert in her reviews, says Clockers has urgency and power, but at times it sprawls and loses focus. Mm-hmm. So, couple not the harshest critique there. This movie, while it wasn't a box office success, did influence later crime dramas, especially The Wire. That's something that I kept seeing pop up in my research, The Wire, because Richard Price went on to write for The Wire. This is Mekhi Phifer's breakout role. So that's the only kind of legacy that we're looking at here with Clockers. I do think this is probably one of the lesser of Spike Lee stuff, like less recognized of Spike Lee. I'm not going to say I didn't like it or anything, but I do think it's probably one of his lesser knowns or lesser talked abouts. Let's get into the discussion a little bit. What are some of the standout scenes that you think make this film memorable to you?
I did pick out 5 scenes, but I had a very hard time picking out important scenes.
Yeah.
Because this is kind of like, it's not like a slice of life movie like Crooklyn is, but it is so like, it's only over the course of a few days, and it's kind of all feels like it's strung together. And to maybe speak to that more negative reviews point, it does kind of lose focus a little bit. Like, it's not like this is a scene. They all kind of meld into one another, which it might be on purpose. It's not a critique. It's just kind of to talk about it. I had a hard time.
No, when I was going through and I tried to be like, do like an objective breakdown, like writing and cinematography and all these things, like editing was the thing on this one that I was like, maybe it was intentional, but it didn't work for me. Because there were some scenes that I think you're talking about, like where we're in the middle of something and then immediately we're cut to like, that same character is immediately out of something and is onto it's like basically a new scene. Like, it didn't feel as cohesive as I would have liked it to be. So I agree.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of context for what was going on. Or maybe it's just that it's not something that I have a lot of knowledge of. And then like someone who maybe has more knowledge about, the scene at hand is like, oh yeah, this is definitely something that happens. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
The first scene I picked out is the bar scene. I think because that's where our plot starts.
Can I cut you off real quick and ask you about my first scene?
Oh yeah.
Is not a scene, so to speak, but I think it is something that is very jarring and something that
the opening credits.
It's the opening credits scene, or opening credits of this movie, which is a hard watch.
That was harder to watch than the rest of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought that was setting us up for a really tough film, and that was probably the worst of it. Maybe it's supposed to desensitize you so that the deaths that happen throughout the movie aren't so bad.
Yeah.
Though I will, spoiler alert, this was my what the fuck.
That was your what the fuck?
Was the opening credits.
Yeah.
It is artistic. Again, I get it, but it was graphic.
It's very graphic.
Dead bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
Just people being shot.
Yeah. If you haven't seen or haven't watched this film, it opens with just crime scene photos of Black men and women who are shot and are killed sometimes in very like varying positions. Obviously not everybody is on the ground or anything, but it is meant to do exactly what it did to both of us. And when we're sitting there like, oh my God, like it is so graphic. And it does set a tone for a
Yeah.
world that we are getting ready to be put into.
Mhm.
The movie is not as violent as that whole section, but it does set us up, I think. And I think you're right. I think it does desensitize us a little to the rest of the movie. Because I do think there are two other scenes dealing with police officers and then victims that I found just like hard to watch, but also like I get what you're saying. Like I get it, Spike. Like
Yeah.
this was
You mean the two scenes where they're making fun of dead bodies?
yeah.
It was. I mean, again, it's all Spike Lee loves a commentary, whether it's an explicit one or not. And it was, yeah. And the thing is, like, when I think about like movies I've watched that have violence or just television shows, right? I think that's maybe where I don't watch a lot of violent movies. You don't see blood because you can't put that on TV, or you don't see a bullet hole. You just see someone laying there with their eyes open. You're like, oh, they're dead. These were, I think, real images. Like
Yeah.
that
Oh, yes,
was
they
what
were.
like that's what haunted me. I'm like, that's a person. That's not an actor. That's not fake blood. That is someone who they pulled that from a newspaper, a website, a library. I'm like, that's somebody's dead body. And
Yeah.
that I also have weird thoughts about like the consent of that.
Yeah.
Like obviously that person's dead, they didn't consent to that, but I'm like, does what if you're like that person's family, you know, like
Yeah.
maybe these are public images that are like open to the public, able to be used. Like I don't know, it was very upsetting.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spike did reach out to families if he could and get consent for that, because I do think that while it is graphic and it is hard to watch and everything, I think it gives a point to the movie and what is trying to be said. One thing I learned in my research is that Spike was often criticized in his movies for not portraying the community, not portraying crime or not portraying things that are happening in the community. And this was kind of his response to that. Like, okay, you want to see a movie about drug dealing, you want to see a movie about crime, and you want to like, and that these people, like people in, I would say like Do the Right Thing, people are maybe criticizing him for showing a section of Bed-Stuy or Brooklyn that like, oh, you're missing out on the other things that are going on in this neighborhood. And I don't think that's the point of Do the Right Thing at all.
Well,
I think
the point of Do the Right Thing is about police brutality.
Yeah.
Like that's what Do the Right Thing's about. And it's over the course of 24 hours. How long do you want that movie to be?
yeah.
And with Crooklyn is from the perspective of a 7-year-old girl.
Yeah.
So, and there are drugs in that movie still. Like Spike Lee is he's high. He's the drug dealer in that movie. And I'm like, I have qualms with that. I mean, I get it. You can, but, and like I see him being like, oh, you don't think I represent our community well enough? Here you fucking go. Like I see that, but I also think everything can't be everything for everyone.
Yeah, and I think that while like Spike is giving a view of, okay, here's Brooklyn, here's the drugs, here's the crime and everything, like this is his crime movie, like he's still putting his Spike spin on it. You still get the commentary on the cops. You still get the commentary about young black men and women that are caught up in this world. Like you still get all those things. It's just in a different way. And
Yeah.
I think I appreciate Spike for like, Spike Lee is not John Singleton. Spike Lee is not I can't think of the name of the brothers that made Menace to Society, but like he's not doing those kinds of films because
they're nuanced.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that, I don't know, like I am not in this community. I'm not of that community. And I have no right to say anything about like wanting to see representation or something from that. But like, I think I like what Spike does in these movies because I think he is writing movies that are and creating movies and art that speak to people on so many different levels. You can look at Do the Right Thing and say, okay, this is police brutality. Or you can look at it through another racism lens, like who are the bad people in that film? And that's another thing that I really like about Spike, and I think that he does in this one, is that who are the bad guys in this film? Who are the good guys in this film?
Yeah. I don't think anyone is likable in this film, which is fun. Like to have like an unreliable narrator ish, or for us to start to believe we have an unreliable narrator until the very end. But other than like Iris, I don't like anybody. Iris.
Yeah, I mean, I liked I think I liked Andre.
Andre. Yeah,
Andre,
I like Andre
the best. But I like that. In the rest of Roger Ebert's review, he starts talking about like Harvey Keitel is our hero in this, and I'm like, not my hero at all. Like, well,
I would say hero is a strong word.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're saying protagonist, I still don't even see that our protagonist is Strike.
Yeah, I mean, the entire plot, the whole reason, like that. Rocco is that his name? Rocco.
Mm-hmm.
Rocco is trying to get justice is because he thinks he's being played.
Yeah. He's
like, these two brothers are trying to pull the wool over my eyes. They think they can, mess with me. Absolutely not. It has nothing to do with justice.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be played for a fool, and he wants to get it right.
And that's the only thing about it. Like, I think, and he's even like a nuanced character. Too, because yes, I think that is his soul. He doesn't like being played, and his partner is like, "Hey, this is open and shut. He's self-defense, like whatever." And yes, he has. Who cares? Like, yes, that is a racist point of view from the John Turturro character. Like, he's just like whatever, and we hear that time and time again with all the crime scenes that he's a part of. But like, even I think towards the end when Tyrone comes in and everything, like I think you see a softening of Harvey Keitel's character a little bit, and like an anger of like, hey, you messed up somebody else's life, and I need you to get out of here and just get away from all this, because that kid's gonna go down a path now that we didn't want him to go down, and I had to help, and all it becomes a lot more nuanced, which again lends to being just a really, really interesting movie and story to me. So all right, so I did cry. That was a lot for the crime scene photos or anything. This one's a really brief before we get to the bar room scene or anything, just like the process of clocking. And like, I thought that was kind of a fun introduction to what is clocking, what are clockers, what are how are they dealing their drugs out, and like I found that like a very interesting way. It almost seems like a heist kind of thing. Like, okay, this guy's doing the lookout. This guy's getting the drugs. This guy's giving the money. This person's dropping it in the trash can. Okay, our guy or John or whatever we want to call him is picking up the drugs. Like I thought that was really cool, and just a cool way of doing that. So
this is what we call organized crime.
Yeah.
I say it. It's not just mafia. It is like there is organization to the crime. The crime is not randomized. Like that's what the broader definition is.
So I really like that, and I'm glad they told us what clocking was, because I was like, I don't know why this is called clockers. So glad to know. Okay.
Now we know.
Now your scene, I think, probably comes after this.
Yeah, I think that's just where like the main plot is coming from. So our main character, Strike, just stops by the bar where his brother frequents, and talks to him. And he had just been given the task, we'll say, to put a hit out for this guy named Daryl. If you wanna get Daryl's spot to clock, you have to earn it. You have to go get it yourself. So he hears that and goes, I gotta kill this guy. Throws it out there to his brother. His brother says, my guy's gonna take care of it. And we'll come back to that later. But a scene, just like and like, so they're talking, and our Strike is drinking a pina colada, which is the funniest thing on the face of the planet. Again, he's 19, so his taste buds aren't quite there yet. But where this is like the potential for, like, oh, like someone's gonna murder this Daryl guy, and then it cuts to we see Strike being the one who goes to the restaurant
Mhm.
and we're assuming is the one who kills him. And so it's not my guy, it's not, his brother, it's him. So that whole scene kind of sets us up. We get to meet Victor, his brother. We get to see who Daryl is. We get to watch potentially Strike kill his first person ever. So that's kind of what kicks us off for the cops continuing to come around. Now we have a homicide on our hands, and Daryl's not there anymore, so someone's got to pay for that.
Yeah. I like the scene in the bar. It's interesting to me that it's a common thing that your namesake, Mr. Moo, like our main character Strike is drinking Mr. Moo's the whole time. I don't know if that lends to his age and him being young. Is that what, do you think that's what we're supposed to take from it? Like that's why
that's my assumption. That's my assumption.
Yeah, and I also think it is because of maybe Rodney's advice to him, being like, hey, we don't do drugs. We don't get involved in drugs and alcohol and all that stuff, because here's my friend Errol and he's got AIDS, and like this is what happens to those kind of people when they do that. So I like the whole consistency with the Mr. Moos and everything, and his little.
He is an interesting, like he knows what he likes. He knows he likes trains, and he knows he likes chocolate milk. Like that is what this, I mean, I think it does play to his age. It does kind of show that like childlike wonder, like that we maybe see a little bit later in the movie, like especially towards the end. That this is a kid. This is I mean, he's 19, but he's a kid who got really deeply involved and is a willing participant, but is still somebody who plays with a model train set and drinks chocolate milk 5 times a day.
Yeah. And we see that more in parallel whenever Strike has Tyrone over all the time. That's his name, right? Tyrone?
Tyrone, yeah.
Yeah. When he has Tyrone over all the time and he shows him the trains and he gives him the toys and all these things, I don't think it is Strike trying to entice. I feel like it's like a weird grooming situation where it's almost like unintentional grooming. Like, where this was done to Strike in the beginning, like, hey, this is what I'm into, or and gets all these. It's a parallel of what had happened to him with Rodney, and I think that he's doing it to Tyrone as well. Sadly, without really thinking too much about it, because we hear him in other scenes be like, "Don't ever do drugs. If I ever find out that you're doing drugs, I'll kill you." Like,
right. And Tyrone at Strike's house. That scene is one I have written down for later.
Yeah.
And I like that you said it feels like unintentional grooming, not in the grooming into the world of clocking. And I almost kind of watched that and felt that it was not only was it just unintentional, I think Strike wanted a friend. Yeah. I think or someone who would listen to him, someone to talk to who felt more on his same level. Like, I'm not, like, again, that childlike. He's the authority figure here. He's the older one. He's the wiser one. He gets to bestow all this knowledge upon this child, where, his friends, the other guys that he clocks with, like Scientific, like they're all awful to him. They are not, they make fun of him with the trains. Like they like make fun of him as a person. They end up calling him a rat or a snitch later. Like they don't like him. He's not friends with them. They are coworkers. They are acquaintances. I don't think he really has a friend other than his older brother. And his older brother is now in we'll get to him being in jail. But
and I think Andre too was an influence. We do learn with Andre, the Keith David character, that they used to be really close to one another until Strike started clocking and working more for Rodney and doing all that. That gets established, and I feel like Strike is straddling the Rodney and the Andre side of things, and it's interesting that one is a criminal, organized crime leader, and the other one's a cop. Because I don't know if Andre's like a beat cop or whatever, his like just a uniform cop, not a detective or anything. but yeah, two different people, and those are his father figures, are Rodney and this guy, and Errol. I don't know if we want to count Errol as as a father figure. He's scary to me, but yeah, I really like this. This is all comes from the scene at the bar. See, I knew you would have so much more to talk about and draw of it. The scene at the bar is really good though too, not only because it shows kind of the youth of him as well, but like his relationship with his brother. They love each other, and you can tell that. But Ronnie Strike knows how to get to his brother a little bit, because he says all that stuff about Daryl.
How Daryl's a bad guy and
woman beater, all these things, and you see him react and clench his fists and say, "My man will take care of it," kind of thing. Like he knows I've got my brother in a very vulnerable position, and my brother will help me out. Which is, shows love and respect and all those things, but also like taking advantage of again straddling those lines. I think. Of being in that world and influencing others. So
what's your next scene?
Just mine goes on top of that. And it's actually like the cops at the crime scene. And like you said, not really a full scene of something, but something like that happens twice in this movie. We see the cops making fun of the victim, this dead body, and they're so like immune to it. Which tells you a couple things. One, that there's racism involved there heavily. Two, it's normalized. It's something that they see every day. I think there's a quote at the end of this movie that is almost like a throwaway line, but they call it like a self-cleaning oven.
Yeah.
And God, that hit me, and it is such a throwaway line. In this, but man, when he describes the projects and things like that as a self-cleaning oven, I was just like, oh Jesus, that's rough to me. But yeah, these guys just picking, and I don't know how I'm supposed to feel in these scenes where they're picking apart the crime scenes and
uncomfortable. I think this movie is meant to be uncomfortable. Yeah. A lot of this movie is uncomfortable. Because you're just like, don't do that, please.
Yeah.
Please stop doing those things. Whether it's Strike or the cop or Victor or the cops, you're just like, did I say the cops twice?
Yeah, rightfully so.
I was thinking like Rocco Klein and then the other cops. That was where my brain was at. So there's like, stop, please, and that it just keeps happening. My next scene was Victor's interrogation. So it all this all blends together. It's why it was really hard to pick out specific scenes. But we find that what we're assuming as the watcher is that Victor is going to take the fall for his brother. And I liked the interrogation scene with Rocco, the camera angles getting really close to their faces, him being like, it's self-defense, and he's like, it wasn't self-defense, tell me the truth. He's like, I'm telling you the truth. He won't budge. And that's where we get our story as the watcher, as the viewer, is to go, oh, he's going to take the fall for Strike.
And I think we're meant to believe that, especially with the scenes that were shown ahead of this, where Strike has the gun and everything, and has previously talked to his brother. We even see a scene before he gets to the interrogation where he meets up with his brother, like in the middle of the street, and they hug and are super nice with each other. So we are fully on board with, hey, Victor has taken the fall for Strike here. And the more you learn about Victor, it's intentional, but it breaks your heart. You're like, oh, this guy would never do anything like this. And you kind of feel like Strike manipulated him. So it's like another thing against Strike, another strike against Strike, that our main guy is not who we want him to be.
Well, yeah, something about Strike that is infuriating to me, and it is, again, an unlikable main character. Never takes responsibility for anything.
Yeah.
Like, till the very end, even when he is on the train, like, very last scene, he continuously says, "Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me. Don't, that's not my fault. I didn't do that. I don't put that weight on me." And I'm like, everything in this movie is your fucking fault.
But
Just in a way.
Yeah, no. I think you're absolutely right. And I think that also lends to the maturity of Strike. And because you see this a lot with, children, young kids who have obviously done something wrong, and then everybody else. I'm going to push the blame on everybody. And that's what it feels like from Strike. Like, it is just like, I am not going to tell you the truth, even if you know this is the truth. And we later come to find out what the actual truth is. And that,
Right.
I don't even know if Strike knew the truth.
I don't think he did.
Yeah.
I don't.
Especially because of that ending scene, the ending interrogation scene. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's something I dislike about Strike is that he just deny, and is not helping his case or anyone else's case. It's one thing to lie for your brother, but you're not even lying for your brother. You're just lying almost to save your own self for the sake of lying. Like, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
I think I think it is a straddling thing. Like, he is not only trying to save his own skin because Rodney's going to come and kill him. He's also trying to get his brother out of jail without incriminating himself, and make sure that his brother doesn't, get all the bad stuff that is already starting to happen to his brother to happen. He just wants it to be done and over with, and whatever he has to say to make sure that it's done and over with, I get out of the way. So I do think it is him trying to be everything at once, and he just can't. But yeah, it makes you mad. It makes you so angry every time he tells a lie. You're just like, just tell me one truth. Just stick to one story, my guy. $50,000 bail with no prior seems wild, says chat.
He did kill a guy.
I mean, yeah, he did kill a guy.
I would say the crime was murder. So
yeah, and I don't know. I don't know anything about bail. I barely understand bail because you're supposed to give 10% of that, and that's how you get them out. That's how you get you go to a bail bondsman, stuff like that. Self-defense, but we don't know that is self-defense. I can't just go out and kill a guy and be like self-defense and then it'd be okay, there's got to be some kind of investigation into it. I don't know if you know how
bail works.
How bail works and how cops are in New York City and all that stuff, please drop some knowledge on me. What's your next scene? So
I fast forward very far in advance and go to Rodney threatening Strike. I skipped over Tyrone at Strike's house because we had already talked about that.
Yeah.
Tyrone or Strike kind of grooming Tyrone. This is where the Chekhov's gun?
Chekhov's gun, yeah.
We were introduced to a gun, and I'm like, that's going to show up later. And so I skipped past that, and I went to Rodney threatened Strike. So I am very far ahead.
No, that's my next scene. Yeah, that's the next. I had Strike and Tyrone apartment scene, but then my very next one is just Rodney and Strike car scene.
Okay, so for context, if y'all if our chat didn't watch the movie, again, this entire time the cops are trying to figure out who actually killed Daryl. They don't believe Victor did it. They believe Strike did it. And all the while, they are also trying to catch Rodney, who is Strike's boss, the actual drug lord out of all of this. The clock of all, the grandfather clock of the clockers, if you will.
I like that.
Ooh, hey. And Strike's real name is Ronnie, which is Ronnie and Rodney. So Strike is frustrated. He's frustrated with the situation. Rodney keeps picking him up and telling him what to do and what to not do, and he finally tells him to F off, and Rodney does not take kindly to that and grabs him and puts a gun in his mouth and threatens to kill him right then and there. And you go, oh, this Rodney who's acted like, literally says you're like my son, like he's the father figure who is really the whole reason that this movie's happening, in the sense that he's the one who put the hit out on Daryl, our victim, is ready instantaneously to turn on the kid that is working for him.
Yeah, it is a character shift from what we've seen Rodney prior to this scene. He has been pretty nice, charismatic, charming, every time that he is on screen, and this is when the switch flips and Rodney gets scary here.
Yeah, which like this whole time we kind of maybe assumed that this was potentially something that could happen. Not assume, but like, this man runs these streets. He is the drug lord. Like the cops know his name. They're all trying to catch him like in the act so they can pin him for something, and they do eventually pin him for something, but like he's the guy.
Yeah.
So he's the one who can say, go kill Daryl for me so I can get that business back. Like, if you're someone who can say that even in the nicest, sweetest, silkiest voice, you still have killed people. Like, that flip, that switch was bound to happen.
And when he drags Strike over his lap, it felt very weird to me. Like, just uncomfortable. Again, just lending itself to like feeling uncomfortable throughout this movie. When he brings him across his lap and then punches Strike in the stomach as he's dealing with his stomach ulcer that, is a common thing throughout this movie. And man, it hurts every time to watch it happen to him. But like,
Strike got the hell beat out of him this entire movie.
Yeah. And just coughing up blood and everything. It's bad. But yeah, when he drags him across his lap, puts his gun in his mouth, it's, reminiscent of that scene or the story that he tells about Errol and how Errol's his best friend, but Errol was like, you're going to kill this guy. And if you don't do it, I'll blow your head off. And he's like, that was my best friend who told me that. And so
it was to have something on him. Yeah. Right? He said Errol already killed 2 people. There was a third one that needs to be killed. He made me kill him so that we each knew something about one another. So that, like, if you go down, I'm going down too, kind of. Or if I go down, you're coming with me, And
it feels so much a part of that cycle that we already see repeating with Tyrone, that we see, that relationship. So Errol did this to Rodney, and Rodney did this to Strike, and Strike's doing this to Tyrone. So you see that cyclical action there happening, and that this is the way it's going to be, or else you're going to get killed by Errol or whoever else is out there. It's like somebody's going to get you. And yeah, this scene, I really like the character. Like, I hate every character in this movie. You're allowed to, you're supposed to, but like, I think the character of Rodney is such an interesting character because of how we are introduced to him and what we know about him. I think watching Crooklyn adds to the Rodney character a little bit, because it's like, oh, we saw him being a father figure to, or a actual father to these children, and growing up with this dad, this jazz musician dad. And then we have this like flipped version of him where we're like, oh my God, I didn't know you had that in you, kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's a testament to the actor. Yeah. Truly.
What else you got?
I have the final confession from Mom. That we finally learn, like, again, Strike is being interrogated for the upteenth time. Rodney is like on the hunt for him because he thinks he set him up. Victor is still doesn't have bail yet. Like, and yeah, Strike is being interrogated by the cops. They're trying to get him to confess that it was him who killed Daryl. And he's just throwing out names. It was Scientific. It was so-and-so. It was this person. It was Errol. And he's like, no, it wasn't. It was you. And then all of a sudden, our like character who's been in the movie for 5 seconds, Mom, Victor and Strike's mother, comes in and admits that Victor actually did kill Daryl.
Mhm.
Like, drops that bomb. I did not see that coming. That was a shock to me. Because again, like, we have built this case up the entire time where we even saw a scene where Strike had his gun like here, had it on his chest, hidden with a newspaper, and we're like, yeah, he killed Daryl. Like, we watched that happen, but we didn't actually watch it happen. But we're like, ooh, thinking back. But apparently, like, Victor had said, I'm just so tired. We've learned he works 65 hours a week at a restaurant, plus he works at another a shop. He's got 2 jobs, he's got twin boys and a wife. He is trying to save up money to get his family out of the projects, and he cracked. He just cracked. And unfortunately, Strike was like, hey, again, back to the bar scene, there's this guy, he's a woman beater, he's a bad guy, someone needs to take care of him. And that like set something off in Victor for him to like, he said, he's like, I felt like someone else was pulling the trigger, that it wasn't me. And it felt like a dream. And he immediately goes home. He tells his mother everything, confesses, has kind of a nervous breakdown. And and then the mom leaves. She goes, it was self-defense. You have to believe him. And so it's like, this is the story we are sticking with, and we're going with it. Done. And she's like, that is it. And it was great. I loved her.
Yeah.
I've seen her before.
Yeah, I can't remember what else she's been in that we've seen or that we would have seen, but she is, like you said, she's barely in the movie. We see her a few times. She's the woman in the window at the beginning whenever they're going through their clocking. Like, she's the one essentially that I think calls the cops on them at the beginning of the film whenever they're clocking and getting them strip searched and all that stuff. I think his mom is the one that does all that. Maybe she was in Crooklyn. Was she the aunt or?
No, maybe. I don't know. I don't think
I'll have to look it up after. No, she's great. And another thing that we don't see Victor kill him, Daryl, right?
Yeah, we do.
We do actually see him kill him.
Mm-hmm.
We see him pull the trigger, but we don't see the incident. Is what I mean. Like, we don't know. Like, we don't. There were so many
flashbacks with so many different people standing in front of Daryl with a gun. Like,
the scientific thing, like all that stuff. So, like, but one thing that we don't know what caused him to crack. Was it the words from? Like, I still think it's ambiguous in that way. Like, was it because of what Strike said to him? Was it because he was walking through the parking lot and this guy just had to say something? Daryl had to say something to him, and it truly was like, hey man, don't mess with me right now. And he just comes at him. Like, we don't see that. And I do like that, because that's not what the movie's about,
Yeah.
But it does come to a head that like Strike did not kill this guy, and he's not to blame for it. And Victor did do it and confessed and should take it at what it is. It's a good scene, and I think it also breaks Harvey Keitel's character too. I think it breaks Detective Rocco, because it's like, I thought these guys were messing with me the entire time, and now it's all not true, and that's truly, they're always talking like it's so racist whenever he's like, he's one of the good ones, and surely it couldn't have been him, and all this. Like, it's that, I hate it. It's that I don't even know what to call that kind of racism. Like backhanded compliment racism.
Yeah, that backhanded compliment.
Microaggressions or whatever, or the things that like people will say about people that are like, oh, they're different, or they're eloquent, or what, like those little words.
You think it's the person thinks it's a compliment, and it's actually just as racist as being racist. It's inadvertent, and you can wave it away as the speaker if you chose to.
So I think this really broke Keitel's character, and you can tell that whenever he drops Strike off at the station. He was like, hey, what's going to happen with Tyrone? What's going to happen with all? And he's just like, just get the hell out of town. Just leave.
Yeah.
Like, you ruined so much. And it's heartbreaking. Any other scenes that you have written down?
That is it.
Yeah. The only other scene I would point out, I didn't write it down, was just Ant Song in Crooklyn.
Oh, it was
Okay.
Amazon. Okay.
Yeah, the one that like they send her to, not
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
not Spike Lee's sister.
Mhm.
Yeah, the one that they send her to, Ant Song.
Okay.
Thank you, chat. Thank you. Maybe we'll get to it. All right, who is your favorite character, or was there a scene stealer?
So we've kind of been touching on this. I said the only likable characters were Andre and Tyrone's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite character was actually Rodney. Like, I don't think like I
No,
mean it
yeah.
wasn't not lovable, but charismatic. When you said charismatic, I'm like, that's it. Like
Yeah.
he's on screen. And I'm like, hey, he's back. Like even if he's the worst person ever, like he is fun to listen to and really engaging. Like there's even that one scene where he's like basically recruiting like 4 other boys to be part of his gang, and Strike is mouthing the words to the story that Rodney's telling because Rodney has told it over and over and over again, and they're still hanging on every word.
Yeah.
So I think I'm not sure if he's my best performance, though I did really like his performance. He's definitely, I have like maybe 2 or 3 top performers in this movie, but I think he's my favorite character, unfortunately.
Yeah. No, I had Rodney down. I also had Andre down as being one of my favorite characters too in this. That's I forgot all about that scene where he is recruiting and doing that, and I think that's such an interesting scene too. Not only because of the 4 teenage boys that he's recruiting, but then you have those like 4 boys that are on the outside, or 3 or 4 boys on the outside that are little, and you're like, oh, this is just this is just a cyclical thing.
Yeah.
Which it's so good. Favorite quotes from this movie. It's not a real quotable movie.
Yeah. I have a couple. I didn't take the whole thing, but the biggest one I think from this movie is Rodney saying, if God created anything better than crack cocaine, he kept that shit for himself.
Yeah.
And then he goes into a whole spiel about it, which makes it even deeper and crazier. He's like, it's like truth serum. It really shows you for who you are. But yeah, if he made anything better than crack cocaine, he kept it for himself.
Yeah. And I don't know if that comes before or after those scenes of them dealing and the people that are coming up to get crack.
It's right before.
Yeah.
Because there's only one woman who like comes up to him and she's definitely looking rough, and he goes, I'll come find you later. And then he says that whole monologue, and then it cuts to all of the different people using.
Yeah. Which I thought was
another tough watch.
A very effective watch. And I think it goes along with that monologue that he has. He's like, I don't care if you're black, white, Chinese, rich, poor. And you take a hit, you're on a mission, and that mission will never end. Even when the house, the money, loved ones are gone, they send you to the joint, you're still going to try and cop. Mm-hmm. And it only ends when you're 6 feet under. And that's when your mission ends. And I was, that whole monologue is really good.
Mm-hmm. Not even once. Wasn't that? That was like a drug campaign. Like, like, is it heroin or was it for crack? Not even once.
It might be crack. It crack or meth. I don't know.
Meth. It was meth. Yeah. Meth. Not even once.
Not even once. Yeah. Oof. Other quotes.
Klein, the cop, sees Errol and he goes, Errol, I thought you were dead. And Errol says, I was. I came back. And for whatever reason, that was like the way he said it was so hard. Mm-hmm. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I came. Like, he's just like,
Errol is scary to me.
He's got like the crazy eye. He's like got the deep growly voice, and he's also doing things with his body. He's also in a lot of pain because he has AIDS. But he's just like doing his whole thing. I'm like, oh, that guy will F you up like that.
Another check in our box for AIDS movie in the 90s.
Oh my God, another one.
It's a serious thing.
Do you have one?
I had one where Scientific, it's at the beginning of the movie when Scientific and the guys are all talking about rap music. And he says, these people talking all this positive shit, motherfucking world we live in ain't positive. You know what I'm saying? That's why motherfucking sex and violence sells more fucking records. Mm-hmm. And because they were fighting over how they didn't like Public Enemy, which is funny because Public Enemy was a huge part of Do the Right Thing.
Mhm.
and talking to, I think there's even a Public Enemy song in this. It might be towards the beginning of this movie, but it is talking about, political movements and things like that. And he's just like, they're not these people didn't kill anybody. These people aren't slinging. They're not doing this. So, they don't count. They're not credible.
Yeah,
to
they
my
like
life.
Tupac. They like Tupac and they like Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
And Wu-Tang. That was another one.
Wu-Tang, yeah. So, which is interesting, when we've talked about Tupac and Wu-Tang a lot this year. So, what else you got?
I have Iris, the mom, Tyrone's mom, who says, "You are selling your own people death."
Yeah.
And I thought her whole bit, like anytime she came on screen, I also was like, yeah, Tyrone's mom's back. She did great because she is just like, you idiots. You are killing people and you're going to kill my son. And I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen. And I'm like, yeah, everything she did, I would have, if that was my child, I would 100% done everything that she did. She got up in Strike's face. I loved her, and that was one that stuck out to me.
Yeah, she was great. And yeah, it's hard. Hard scenes.
There are.
I liked the scene between Rodney and Strike. We did this last night after we watched it, but Rodney says I or Rodney says I or all right, and Strike says it was I all right. Yeah, I really like that.
Yes.
What else you got?
I got one more, and this is just like a laugh, I guess, or just a throwaway. What's his name? Scientific is making fun of Strike for loving trains. And because he's literally sitting there reading a book about trains. Like, the man loves a train. And Strike says, every man should have a hobby. What the F's yours? Collecting welfare checks? And I was like, oh. And he almost killed him. I mean, Strike,
yeah.
Scientific was going to kill Strike at any moment if Rodney didn't try to. But yeah, I was like, oh, damn. All right.
I have one more by Strike, and I think it's to Detective Rocco when he says, black man say he don't do something, you don't believe him. Black man say he did do something, you still don't believe him. Which I was like, damn. Yep. That's hard.
You're right.
All right. Biggest laugh, cry, scare, or thrill. What moment packed the biggest emotional punch for you?
I didn't really have, there's not a lot of laughs in this movie. I don't have any cries either. Like, there wasn't like a big emotional moment for me. I maybe would say a thrill, and this is, again, Spike Lee's so good at what he does artistically, was Tyrone mimicking the video game. That, I mean, we haven't really talked about, we've mentioned Tyrone, but we don't mention that Tyrone kills Errol.
Yeah.
Because he gets a hold of Strike's gun. And he's 12, and like we watch and I love it's the mimicking, like he's playing this virtual reality game where he's riding a bike and he's holding a gun and he kills the guy in front of him, and it's all like digitized and very 1995 technology. And I think it's Sega, which was a fun throwback. And then there's with the music, and then there's an identical scene towards in the third act, basically, where he is riding a bike, again in real life, riding a bike, holding a gun, and Errol's standing at the end of the drive and he shoots him. And it was again the no, don't do it. But I love the juxtaposition of the game and the reality that it was, and he just like stone cold didn't think
anything about it, just turned around and went back. And I had just in this section Errol as a whole.
Yeah, Errol was creepy.
He was creepy, and in that scene, like, he was doing things with his body that made him look like a monster, like a scary monster that's like contorting their body in weird ways. And I think it just makes Errol scarier. And thrill, scare. That was exactly what I had as well. So. What was your most ridiculous moment, or what the?
It was just the opening scenes. We also didn't like the entire movie until afterwards when we looked it up. We didn't understand that Strike had a stomach ulcer,
Yeah.
like a very severe stomach ulcer, which can get that bad, especially if you keep drinking dairy. But no, my only WTF was the opening scenes because I was like, that was graphic. Like
Mhm.
I am not for this world. I am a very soft person.
Yeah.
And it was a hard watch. I was kind of sick and I was like, are we going to get through this movie? We have a podcast tomorrow. And, I mean, it ended up being okay, but that was and I get it. I'm like, but just because it's artistic and like has a purpose, that doesn't mean it doesn't give me my stomach turning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a tough watch. That was my like, what are we about to get into? And the rest of the
Yeah.
movie was fine, but like there were still dead people on the sidewalk with blood and it was gross, but that was bad. That was tough for me.
Yeah. I agree. That's a hard scene to watch. I think it's an important scene, obviously, but like not something I want to, keep watching over and over and see.
Mhm.
But I mean, it gets the point across.
Yeah.
I besides the crazy amount of homophobia, which is just rampant throughout this movie, like little
Mhm.
lines, throwaway lines. Obviously, I again don't know the culture, don't know any of the things, but I know that is a part of the community. Just second from that,
Especially in 95.
especially in 95, especially with AIDS being a thing that we're still coming out of the 80s and everything. Still a lot of that up in the air. I mean, even with like throwaway things like them calling homicide homicide, like really minor things like that. Just the cutting up of drugs in front of Tyrone. And while he's telling him, don't do any of this ever. If I catch you doing anything with this, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
But again, it lends to the immaturity of Strike and being like, he thinks I'm cool because this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But don't do what I'm doing.
There's a power thing there too.
Mhm.
Like Strike is essentially powerless in every area of his life, whether he realizes it or not. Like his coworkers, I'll call them, like scientific, they don't like him. Like he doesn't have a friend in the world.
Yeah.
Except his brother, who is currently in jail, and who he thinks Rodney, but Rodney's his boss. And so really doesn't have a friend. So I think he really just does take Tyrone and goes, I'm gonna make myself feel better almost.
Mhm.
And not great.
Yeah.
But yeah,
shows him the gun too and like cocks the gun.
as soon I know. And when he's holding it, he like keeps like doing and he's like,
That
I'm like,
stressed me out.
I was like, number one rule of a gun, do not point it at yourself or anybody. Like that was like number one. He's just like, no. And I'm like, put the gun down. And then of course he like keeps it under his bed. I'm like, that'll come back to haunt us later. And it did. With guns introduced in the first act, it's probably gonna go off by the third, right?
That's right. Best music moment for you?
I didn't pick one.
Yeah.
The music did not stand out to me.
With Spike, it's always this way. He doesn't really like. It's hard to like pick up on the score. There is like obviously a lot of jazz scores that he has behind it, but it really didn't stick out to me as much as it did in like Crooklyn or even Do the Right Thing. But I do like what he does with the soundtracks, where he has these like soulful jazz songs, and then he'll have like a rap song, whether it's Public Enemy or he'll have a hip hop song. But a song that really stuck out to me, if anybody wants to take a listen to it, because I thought it almost didn't fit, but it for whatever reason worked in this movie. It is a song by Chaka Khan and Bruce Hornsby called "Love Me Still," and it is a love song in this movie, and it is a very jazzy feel to it, and it almost doesn't fit, but it works for whatever reason. I don't know. So yeah. All right. I don't have an F, Marry, Kill for you.
That is good.
Yeah.
That's okay. Not for this one.
Not for this one. It's okay. That is okay. So we're going to go ahead and skip all the way down to who delivered the standout performance for you.
I said I honorable mention to Rodney. But I actually said Victor and Errol.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we said it. Errol was scary. And everything he did, I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to mess with him like that. And again, the contorting of his body, the we saw him like in that flashback, put like wanting to almost killing Rodney. Like I just was like, there's a lot of body stuff happening, and
Yeah.
I was like really impressed by that. Yeah, he was just scary. But Victor, again, like a lot of flashbacks with Victor as well. Such a calm demeanor, like especially when there's that scene where um Strike goes to visit him in prison, and he like has to pause for a moment, and he's like, "Can you get me out of here?" Like, I thought it was a very strong performance.
Yeah.
Like, and at the end too, where he cracks, like you see a little bit of that, like when he's like laying in bed and his mom's trying to calm him down, where he's like throwing up, like he is having a breakdown.
Yeah.
And like I think they both were probably had to do the most acting in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, I really liked. I don't think anybody really gives a like poor performance in this movie. I was really impressed with Strike, Mekhi Phifer playing Strike. It's his first
Mhm.
role.
Yeah.
I think he did what he was supposed to do, and I think he was really, really great. My best performance was Delroy Lindo, he plays Rodney. So
Mhm.
we've talked a lot about Rodney, but I think because of that big switch, that
Mhm.
from what we saw, the charming to the I'm gonna kill you and put
Yeah.
like that one really got me. So, but I agree 100% with Errol and Victor. They're both Isaiah Washington's doing a really good job in this,
Mhm.
regardless of what his future looks like after this. If you guys know anything about Isaiah Washington. 1995 recast or a 2025 recast, did you do any of those?
So I had a really hard time coming up because of the age. Like
Mhm.
I never do 95. I don't know anybody in 95.
Yeah.
Though for 2025, I'm like, who is like who's young, who could be, and I'm like, I have all my favorites, like, Daniel Kaluuya and
Oh yeah.
John Boyega, and I'm like, all these guys that I love, that I want, but I'm like, I don't see them in these roles. If
Mhm.
I'm not just gonna slap someone in there. The only person that I did recast, and it's solely because I would love to see something different, is Caleb McLaughlin as Strike.
I put that
So,
too.
did you seriously?
Yeah.
I said he's the right age.
Yeah.
And we only know him from Stranger Things
Mhm.
as a child actor. I'd love to see this switch into adulthood. I also I used to follow him on Instagram, and he is the most like positive, like, hey, do something that like give somebody love today. Like, he is the most upbeat, positive human on the face of the planet. Like, I don't think that man knows sadness.
Yeah.
So I'll just to put him in a role like this would be a huge stretch. So that's why I'm kind of like, he's the right age. I'd love to see that kind of like switch from child to adult.
Mhm.
He's the only recast I had.
Yeah. No, I had Caleb McLaughlin too, as Strike. Also, one of the kids from Moonlight. I think it's like the
Mhm.
middle section of Moonlight. I think that the main character in that movie, I think he would be good. I think or actually the younger version of this. Like, I think he's the right age. So,
Mhm.
I would love to see that too. Couple things that go into like fun facts or anything, but I think Lawrence Fishburne or I think Samuel L. was considered for the role of Rodney in 95. And I was like, oh
Yes.
yeah, either one of those guys, I think.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne would be really good. He gives me that Delroy Lindo feel of being very calming and very charming and all this stuff. But on the second could flip. Samuel L. gives me that too. He's very good at flipping the switch.
Mhm.
The only other one for Strike in 95, I said Omar Epps. Most people know him from House. Or looking like Mike Tomlin, the coach of the the Steelers. At that time he would have been, not as young as Mekhi Phifer is, but still could have pulled it off. I've got an interesting one for Rodney though for 2025.
Okay.
Either Marlon Wayans.
Yep.
Or honestly, I think this would be the best casting, regardless of how we all feel about him. Will Smith.
Will Smith would be really good.
I don't know if Will Smith would do it.
No, he wouldn't.
Because I think Will Smith has always made a point to avoid roles like this, like very Not that he isn't capable of being a very good actor. Will Smith is great and talented and does, but I do think that he has made a point to avoid roles like this. But I think this would be a Training Day-esque Denzel Washington swerve for him to maybe like would be really good in this.
I kind of like the Marlon Wayans one as well, because again, that who's in Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, like we know he can be serious.
Yeah,
and even though he is the comedic actor, I would love to see him in that. Will Smith, I think, is a perfect cast, but I think Marlon Wayans would kill it too.
Yeah, I like to see some of those like nice guys.
Yeah,
come off as not nice guys.
Right. It's a stretch. It's fun. Yeah. It's kind of like say, hey, you're a good actor. Take it to the let's see something a little bit different. Like try something that's outside. Like it's almost the opposite of typecasting.
That's what I love. Like that's what I love about Denzel and Denzel. Like in Training Day, in American Gangster, he's playing these very complicated characters that are not the super nice guy. After seeing Chat says after seeing that trailer for him, I like Marlon a lot for that role. So
what's him?
Him is that new Jordan Peele produced movie that looks like very creepy and weird vibes. I don't know what to think. I want to see it, but it looks weird. Any fun facts that you pulled off or thought of or thought of?
We've been thought of. Oh yeah, no, we've actually kind of gone through quite a few of them. Samuel L. Jackson was being considered. Noted that it was supposed to be directed by Martin Scorsese. We talked about all that. Apparently, Martin Scorsese, according to Spike Lee, Martin Scorsese never came to set, despite being the executive producer or an executive producer. So I thought that was an interesting fact. And I'm like, oh, he really said, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
But the only other one I have is in the movie when we get the scene where Strike kills Daryl, even though it's not what actually happened. When we get the view of that, it foreshadows turning in Rodney by hiding his gun in a newspaper that has a headline featuring the word rat.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool. Again, Spike Lee doing Spike Lee things.
Yeah. And I think that's also like, it made me think of Scorsese too, whenever I saw that too, because Scorsese has a big thing with rats and the X's in his movie, The Departed, which like once you have watched that movie and then you go back and watch it again, you're like, oh, I'll pick up on more and more of these things. Like, oh, this movie's all about rats and all about murder and all like, so it's fun stuff. And I don't know if that's a Scorsese thing. I don't know like obviously people have probably done that foreshadowing and little nods to things ahead, but yeah, I really like that too. Anything else that you had?
That was it. We've basically talked about all my other
I was about to say, we covered all mine too. I already did the film's poster and everything as an homage to Anatomy of a Murder. But, and now we come to our final question. Like a Fine Wine and Dish, if you could pair this with another movie for a double feature, what would you choose?
I had another tough time with this one. I love the pairings. The pairings is my favorite thing to do, and this was tough because I don't watch a lot of movies about drugs. So I did pick Crooklyn. Because again, it just kind of specifically because of the Rodney actor being in both movies, being a prominent supporting actor in both movies, and having two completely different personalities. And again, both being Spike Lee. I also said Menace to Society, which was mentioned earlier, because it kind of the duality of two different paths to like what can happen if you're part of this life. In the end, Strike does like get away, kind of in an accidental way. So interesting, just kind of like the Brooklyn of it all, the duality, two different experiences. Excuse me. And then I also paired it with Tupac's "Me Against the World."
Hell yeah! Our
1995 Tupac album featuring Cody's favorite song, "If I Die Tonight."
If I die tonight.
But the whole album, all I can think of with Tupac with Strike and Tyrone having their conversations every time Strike, God, too many names. Every time Strike was like, I never want to see you into this shit. I'll kill you if I do. This is not the life for you. You need to stay in school and do all these things. Don't be like me. And then like still entices him to be like him. That's like Tupac's entire album is like, hey, I do these things and I want to try to get out and it's hard and this is just what we grew up in. And I think that's like the one song, like Young. I just call it Young.
Yeah.
That's what the whole song is. Like Young is Strike and Tyrone's
Tyrone.
relationship.
I like that. I like that a lot. Anything else?
That was it.
Nice. I had Menace to Society down as well. I also wrote down Boys in the Hood, which is the other one that I paired with Menace to Society back then. And Boys in the Hood is kind of a happier version of Menace to Society. It is one where we follow Cuba Gooding Jr. as he's coming through this life, and he's more of on the scholarly path and a student and all these things, and getting out of that life. Whereas Menace to Society, you see somebody, having all the opportunities to get out and then just keep taking the not that way out. And then also, instead of Crooklyn, I paired it with Do the Right Thing. We hear the words "do the right thing," I think, a couple times in this movie. You got to do the right thing. So I think it also pairs very nicely with this. I think there's like 6 movies that Spike Lee has done that all involve Brooklyn and his neighborhood and are part of like what he would say a set of like Brooklyn movies. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely are you to rewatch this movie?
It's a 1.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it ever again.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did. I'm glad I saw it. I would love to continue watching more Spike Lee movies. That's certainly on my list and like want to continue with that. This was I have a lot of aversions to a lot of things that are in this movie, and it was a tough watch. So I'm never going to see it again.
Yeah. I give it a 3.
You might. I won't.
I might watch it again. I like this movie, and would love to go back and maybe try and figure out what some of those weird cuts were about, and some of the other. Maybe read some more on this and research it a little bit more to see where some of the like homages or things that he does that are related to other movies are. So that's the only reason I'd go back and watch it. 3, maybe a 2.5 if you could tell me. What did you rate it overall out of 5 stars?
I had a hard time. This whole thing was me having a hard time. I gave it a 3.5.
Yeah.
I had to. That is my personal rating. I had to take into account that I'm never going to rewatch it. I had to take into account that I really don't like drugs and that I have an aversion to watching movies with drugs in them. I did not like Strike. Like, as a character, I found him like immature and annoying and frustrating. But that's the point. And I love Spike Lee. I can say that this was fantastic. Like, from like the artistic perspective, the plot line was great. The characters were nuanced. Like, from a logical perspective, or from an outside, if I was to be totally like, if I would, what's the word? Objective. If I was to be objective, I would give it a higher ranking. But because I'm being subjective and I am saying it from my perspective, I have to personally give it a 3.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I gave it a 4. And I went from, I tried to look at it objectively as well. I do think that, my biggest beef was with the editing and like some of the editing choices that he has there. I think it's a complicated story to tell and interesting the way that Spike chose to tell this story that obviously was supposed to come from another point of view, and like how he took that and made it. I think this is a better Spike Lee movie than would have been a Scorsese movie. Scorsese's not always, it doesn't always hit. And I'm sure Spike doesn't always hit well, but this one got me. And I think the moments that we talked about artistic wise, with the things he does with the camera, I think the performances were all very good. So I think I gave it 4 stars.
Nice.
So.
I know on the pod, we did not watch Do the Right Thing, but I've seen Do the Right Thing, Crooklyn, and now this movie, Clockers. How would you rank them?
Oh, Do the Right Thing is my number 1 movie.
I figured that was obvious.
So
between Crooklyn and Clockers, which one do you think's a better movie? Or maybe which one did you enjoy more?
I think I liked Clockers more than Crooklyn.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
Cool. No, mine is obviously Crooklyn more than Clockers, but
Yeah.
we're also it's hard. I feel like it's hard to. It's like when y'all did the Tarantino rankings. I feel like when you watch Spike Lee movies, you're just ranking a bunch of 4s and 5s against one another.
Yeah.
So it would be hard, but yeah, I think I mean I definitely liked Crooklyn. I could rewatch Crooklyn.
Yeah, I think there are other movies out there of Spike's that I've seen that I would obviously like. I think I like Crooklyn more than some of those other ones that I've seen. But yeah, a lot of 4s and 5s for me from Spike so far. I think the next one that would be a fun watch. Well, one, I think there are some more like I said, like comedies that Spike does that I would like to go through, whether it's She Hate Me or She's Gotta Have It or Jungle Fever. I don't know what else there is, but some of those movies I think you might enjoy. But Black Klansman, I think, is one of his newer ones that's probably more mainstream than any of them, which is telling a true story about, the KKK and this black FBI or CIA, I can't remember, black FBI, I think, officer pretending to be a white man through Adam Driver. And it has very comedic moments and very serious moments. If anybody was trying to get introduced into Spike Lee, that's a good place to start. Obviously, I'm biased towards Do the Right Thing, but yeah. Yeah, I like Crooklyn. I really like Crooklyn. I don't know. I just love drugs better than family, I guess.
Great.
Clip it. Well, thank you, Alyssa, for watching this movie with me. I know that this is not a subject matter that you tend to gravitate towards, but I am glad that I got you on here for another Spike Lee with me. But before we wrap up, is there anything that you've watched or listened to or read or done anything lately that you would recommend to people?
I haven't, all my movies have been for the pod, so I haven't really watched any movies. I'm on my TV game right now. We just finished season 2 of Wednesday. I have been recommending Wednesday to people all week. It's been a blast. I think it's very fun. It's very cute. It's very Buffy in the sense of there's like monsters and the mystery and trying to figure it out, and it's all in a high school setting. So it's giving season 3 of Buffy to me.
Yes, it's very, very light, very.
Yes, so, and it's still spooky for spooky season. British Bake Off started back up on Friday, so if you're only one episode in, but they've come out weekly, that's my next obsession. We have finished all of Somebody Feed Phil, which is sad. Now we need to find something new to watch. And I did read. I don't think it's been a while since I've been on the pod. What was the movie? The book I read. Oh, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. I don't know if anyone would be interested in reading that.
Good book.
It was really good. It kept me on the edge of my seat to figure out, definitely old Hollywood and a secret life versus a public life, and I enjoyed it. I cried like 4 times in that book. Just like the way that they talk about love or friendship or death or persona, like just was really, really good. So that was the good book I read recently.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice. Obviously I was there for some of those that you watched as well. The only other one, we're in our TV era right now. I watched Shogun. I know I'm a year late on Shogun, but if you haven't seen Shogun, it's 8 episodes, 10 episodes. So freaking good, especially if you're a Game of Thrones person and you need a Game of Thrones hole to fill. It does that. It fills that hole. It doesn't give you dragons or anything. It gives you more of a historical Japan, but it is so good and it's shot so well and the acting is superior and I can't recommend it enough. That show blew me away, like just crazy blew me away. And then in my movies, I watched a movie called The Doom Generation. It is a 1995 movie. It is I don't recommend this for all people. It is a very alternative movie that you just have to read up on it, I guess, if you want to watch it. And then I watched the first Captain America movie.
How's that?
Awesome. I love Captain America. I love that Captain America series. But I was like, oh, I need to catch up on all these movies because a couple of them are now out on Disney Plus. And I was like, I feel like I haven't watched anything, or I need to be reminded about some of these things before I watch it. I don't know if I'm actually going to do that. So who knows? So yeah, Captain America. And then I watched the Captain America one shot about Agent Carter. So that was fun too. But that's all I've got. If you are interested in getting more information like that or recommending things, you can do that by joining our Discord server. A very small but steady Discord server there. You are welcome to, join in our conversation. Let us know what you're watching. We have several little categories or channels there for you to participate in. And you're always welcome to follow us on Instagram. That's usually where I post the dates and times that we're going to be doing these things. Or you can check out my account on Letterboxd. All those are available in the link tree. That should be attached below or on YouTube or however you're watching this. So some scheduling things coming up next Tuesday or Wednesday. Going to find out. We're going to continue our theme of drugs are bad with the movie Georgia. It's a movie I've never seen before. Don't really know too much about it, but I do know it is about addiction and sisters, and we'll see how it goes. But that is our next movie. It's called Georgia. I don't know where you can stream it. I'm sorry. Also, we have our extra credit theme going on, like Do I Amuse You, where our films are all comedies that didn't quite make our list this year. Those movies are Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, the Brady Bunch movie, 9 Months, if you can find it anywhere to stream, Father of the Bride Part 2, and in case you didn't find 9 Months, I also threw in Grumpier Old Men, another sequel to a movie that we've already talked about. So that podcast will be on September 24th at 6 p.m. Join us for that. Thank you all so much for tuning in, for following, for subbing, whatever you've done here. We'll see you next time on 52/1995.
What a year, what a time. Big screens, dreams, a movie rewind. From talking toys to heists gone wrong. We're watching it live and singing along. 52/1995. Grab some snacks, we're going live. Action, drama, comedy gold. We're reliving the stories told.
One movie a week,
all year long.
let's roll the tape.